Bridgestone Thundersport 500s. We saw a wonderful race and a good battle at the top of it too earlier between particularly Steve Tomes, Andy Lawson and Adam Shelton. And they are back to do battle again. Steve Tomes on pole position. There we see Andy Lawson. The Stinger Adam Shelton will be up next, and there's Daryl Harrison on the outside of that front row, number 5. He picked up a good 4th place earlier on, and I'm sure he'd like to go at least one better in this. But it's watch the lights time again. Bridgestone Thundersport 500s, another full grid, and away they go. Tomesy from pole, and there's a lot of people chasing across to get that wider run into Gerard's, or is it simply to follow the line of Steve Tomes? Tomes leads for the first time of asking, Steve.
Yeah, around Gerard's they go. There's Dynamite Bailey, number 72, just alongside of Dominic Clegg with the bright orange helmet. Can't miss Dominic, who has had a good weekend with qualifying. Lewis Osler, Kyle Wilkes also very good, and Nick Clift qualified well, but just needs to fare a little bit better in the races. There's Kyle Wilkes, number 23, and Dynamite Bailey waving his arms about. Not sure what that's about, but at the front it is Steve Tomes, 54, from championship leader Andy Lawson, number 12, and then the Stinger Shelton, number 61, in 3rd.
And Colin McCabe, a lot closer order this time. He'd qualify as well as he'd have liked. I think he was 9th in qualifying, but didn't really get to grips with the leaders in the earlier race, but he's certainly a lot closer this time round. He's currently in 5th position. There he is, just ahead of
Lewis Osler there. That's a good shot of Lewis Osler, and a rider that, as you mentioned in race 1, has really improved, and some of his best performances so far that we've seen of him. He certainly looked chuffed with himself after qualifying yesterday, so nice to see him at the sharp end.
Yep, that little group of 6 just breaking away slightly at the front. Steve Tomes, though, trying to get as flat on the tank as he can. And so does Andy Lawson in 2nd. Not that easy for Andy. The Scots rider is really tall lad indeed, and he really does have to work at flattening the old profile.
Yes, but as we mentioned before, he takes to any bike really well. I'm keen to see what he's like on a 600 or something like that, because he's certainly got the grit and the patience, and well, he's already proven that he can win championships last year in the mini twins. So and he's leading this one as well, and let's be honest, this is not an easy championship to win. I mean, they're currently circulating about 2 seconds quicker than the old lap record, so they really are shifting.
Yes, every year the standard goes up and up in Bridgestone Thundersport 500s, and it is a very, very competitive grid out there. But what's great about them is it's always a full grid. In fact, we had non-qualifiers this weekend as well, and they've been racing at the back of Street Fighter C. But it's so good, isn't it, Steve? It doesn't seem to matter how many riders come in and join the series and how many quick youngsters there are herring away at the front. The bulk of the grid is generally supplied by those who just love their 500 racing, and they turn up in great numbers wherever this championship goes.
Yeah, it's the budget is the key, I think, as well. You know, there's a lot of riders out there, especially in the current economic crisis. There's not a lot of money about, and if you want to go racing and you want to have some fun, this is a great example. Adam Shelton, for example, number 61, really low on money. They've managed to get a couple of personal sponsors on board, and there he is, number 61, got out there on a 500, and he's able to prove his talent. Oh dear, we've got a rider down there, Robin, and he's in the kitty litter. Is that, well, orange vest? Hard to see without the number. Mark Sewell's not come round on the timing screen, so maybe that's Mark.
Yes, indeed. Well, hopefully he'll be up and okay before the leaders get round there. There's the Stinger, Adam Shelton in 3rd place, just behind Andy Lawson and Steve Tomes, but ahead of Daryl Harrison, another good 4th place for Daryl. Further back, number 16 we see is Craig Jeff. He's got Joe Barton right there with him. Keep an eye out for Joe Barton if you can, number 106. He's the sole Kawasaki out there. All the other bikes are Honda 500s, and some people think that that's how it's supposed to be, but in fact there are many 500s that are eligible to run in this series. It's just that the Honda happens to be the weapon of choice, Joe Barton providing the only variety on his Quacker.
Yeah, Kawasaki ER 500. You can go out there on a Suzuki GS 500 as well if you fancy. So it's not, you know, the Honda is the weapon of choice purely because there's more of them out there, I think, to get. But, well, look at this at the front here. Steve Tomes pulling away from championship leader Andy Lawson. Stinger Shelton in third position ahead of Daryl Harrison, Colin McCabe, Lewis Osler and Mike Bailey.
Getting it round Shaw's there, these big 500s. They really do have to teeter around up at Shaw's hairpin, but once they can open taps, look at that coming out of the bus stop. They just charge down through the elbow and across the start-finish line. And once again, slightly further back down the road.
Yeah, just saw a shot there of Richard Blunt. And, well, yesterday in the wet, Richard Blunt had one of the performances, well, we gave him rider of the day. 27th position, something like that, all the way up to 6th. A great performance from Richard. Not quite been able to repeat that in the dry. Here we see Andy Lawson coming under pressure for second position. Adam Shelton, the yellow machine, number 61, just trying to get those extra few points in second.
Yes, he's having a good old look, isn't he? But Andy Lawson, for the moment, repels borders. Yes, it was number 14, Dominic Clegg, that we saw in that earlier shot, and he's well up there. He's had an off already this weekend, so it's really good to see him back on board. He's been putting in some great performances over the last few events. Last lap flag out. Steve Tomes has gone that way already, and Andy Lawson and Adam Shelton see it as well. And there's our leader, Steve Tomes.
Yeah, he's just been round to lap Matt Poncia on his way to what looks to be a surefire 25 points. In the background at the top of your screen, you can just see Lawson still holding off Adam Shelton for second and third. That will do his championship the world of good. And funnily enough, Adam Shelton, he's only raced in 2 events so far this season. If he finishes in third position, I think he's up to 6th in the championship.
Yeah, that's consistent. It's good results. And there we see Steve Tomes. Well, Steve has got the fastest lap of this race already tucked away, unless anybody could do better than that over this last one. So that's it, mate. Pole position, fastest lap, and the race win going to Steve Tomes, and a standing ovation of 1. Well done, sir. Yes, lovely win for Steve in the Bridgestone Thundersport 500s. That is the last checker flag of this Thundersport GB weekend. Great stuff there from Steve Tomes, just being congratulated by Adam Shelton and now by Andy Lawson. They're the 1, 2, 3. Tomes, Lawson, Shelton. Daryl Harrison picked up 4th. Colin McCabe was 5th. And Lewis Osler came home in 6th. On the podium, there is Steve Tomes, in between championship leader Andy Lawson and the stinger Adam Shelton. In the standings, Andy Lawson still has, well, he has that healthy lead. It's 100 points over Colin McCabe, then Daryl Harrison, Steve Tomes, Dominic Clegg and Adam Shelton.